Give us a quick background to your working career. I know you're an accountant. Where did you do all of that stuff?
For my sins, I am a chartered accountant.
Excellent.
I trained in Durban at Deloitte. I'm a Durban boy. After Deloitte, I spent some time in the US, incidentally at the time that Enron went through its very exciting times, as we all know.
Okay, in the auditing profession,
In the auditing profession,
pretty
yes.
dramatic. Eh?
Yes, it was. And then I made my way back, joined Investor Corporate Finance, got into investment banking for a few years, and then decided that it's time to pursue my dream of entrepreneurship.
Well, tell me about that, because I know you're involved with this company called MSG Africa. Give us a sense of what that is, how it was born, and what kind of assets it owns.
We are a business now more than 10 years old. It was started by my two other partners, Given Mkhari and Simpiwe Mdlalose.
Okay.
We're invested largely in telecoms, media, and technology businesses. Most recent news has been our win of the Power FM radio license. So later this year, we'll be launching a commercial radio station here in Gauteng, which will be fun and exciting.
And those work so well. I mean, it's amazing how profitable those are, but I guess you've got to get the listenership. Eh?
Well, yeah, I mean, radio has been one of those business models that I've not seen in any other industry. You know, the capex is relatively small.
Yeah.
If your product is right and you get the kind of listenership that you want, profiled well enough, of course, for advertisers to buy, you can quickly hit break even, and you know you have to work really hard to go back into the red numbers if you once you hit.
What's the niche going to be? I mean, you know, we know what's out there already in terms of the state broadcaster music offering the kind of later to older middle market that's represented by 94.7 and Metro, and then talk and so on. Where's this going to be?
This one will kind of shake up the airwaves a little bit. We're going for a talk-led radio station. Our target market is your middle class black listener. So your 702 kind of formats, perhaps with a mix of the Kai FM kind of feel, is where we'll be playing. Probably those will be our largest competitors from a format and a listenership perspective. It'll be a Gauteng station, and we really look forward to getting into the market and playing.
As you say, the advertiser, that's a very attractive target group that many advertisers want to reach, because that's where the numbers and the spending power is. Huh?
You know, we've been lucky. I mean, since 2005, we've been invested in an ad agency, one of the larger ones, the Jupiter Drawing Room.
Well, tell me about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that whilst we're not media buyers, etc., that has given us a very clear kind of school fees around advertising and what is that's important to advertisers.
So where the clients are going and what kind of stuff they're doing and what sort of platforms.
About 2 years ago, we eventually sold half of our equity to WPP, Modern Sorrel's WPP. But even before then, and even currently, you know, we've got businesses such as Metropolitan Republic now, another ad agency. We've got the Jupiter Drawing Room in Cape Town and in Johannesburg. We're Black River FC here in Johannesburg. And those 4 ad agencies are, whilst they're above the line creative agencies and not your media buying agencies, it has given us a sense of where we think advertisers have a hot spot for. And we think that what we're going to do with Power FM is really present advertisers something that's not there in the market to currently buy. We've done that with Capricorn FM, our radio station in Limpopo. It's only 3.5 years old. We're already 1.5 million listeners. And we back ourselves to do the same thing in Gauteng.
With regard to the model, I mean, I see from the website that you own 51% of some stuff and other stuff you appear to own more of. How does it work? Are you sort of hands-off investors? Do you put a management team together? Do you allow the businesses to operate in their own sort of locales, or do you suck it all up and just kind of really micromanage?
It's a very interesting question, Paul, because historically, perhaps PE investors have been kind of your strategic investor, corner office, kind of stay away from management and let management do what they need to do. Be involved perhaps only strategically and kind of collect your dividends, hopefully. Our model is very, very different. I mean, all you have to do is interview some of our partners and you'll know that the MSG models tends to be very involved. And as a result, you know, small strategic stakes haven't really worked out for us because we kind of tend to over-invest in terms of return on effort because we just want to get our hands dirty so much more than perhaps a strategic investor. So all the way from the Jupiter Drawing Rooms that we own 51%, we have businesses we own 100%, there's businesses we own 25% of, there's businesses we started from scratch, there's other businesses we kind of bought off to maturity. But the common denominator amongst how we behave as investors is that we're very, very involved in the strategic matters of hiring the right kind of management, measuring their performance. And we'd like to believe that we've mastered the art as much as possible. We've learned some difficult lessons over the years. The markets, I mean, we felt it like everybody else, perhaps more so than most. But we've come through that with a lot more experience.
Interesting, you alluded to Investec there, that you'd worked there. Investec are involved with you guys, and what is their role and how cooperative and useful have you found them?
Until recently, they were a 25% shareholder
in MSG.
In MSG Africa. Only late last year, we parted ways. Investec very much kind of cut from the same cloth as the MSG model, very entrepreneurial bank. But you know, there are some challenges, I guess, that come with a young group of entrepreneurs with all these bright eyes and bushy tails when you have a bank as a shareholder. But you know, I think that we're there for us. For the time that we really require that.
Are you implying that you've kind of got to a scale now where you've got some of your own resources and you can, so the power balance has shifted a little bit?
I think it's also more about the passion of the founders and the people who run the business. I think our appetite for more, back to your model of 15% and 51%, we are now have an appetite for more control. So we have a lot more appetite in starting new businesses or partnering at very early stage, embryonic stage of businesses, which is not always great for an investment bank that's very established. And that kind of strategy, I think, works better in an environment where you're in control of your destiny than having to account perhaps for an institutional shareholder.
That sounds great. Just changing gears for a minute, the involvement with ABASA. Just tell us about ABASA. I mean, it's one of the organizations which has quietly been getting on with its mission in life for many years without necessarily being in the higher headlines, trading punches with your sort of, you know, competitors. So just give us a background to that and your role in it.
Perhaps it's an accountant thing, you know. I don't think we're known for trading punches in the public eye. But ABASA's been around now for 26 years, since 1985. We've had many business leaders now that are kind of commonplaces, presidents of ABASA, your Sizwe Nxasanas and many others. And what the organization purely is about increasing the number of black chartered accountants. So ballpark figures, we're sitting in an environment where we've got about 30,000 chartered accountants registered with SAICA, and less than 12% of those are African, black, or colored. So the other kind of 88% are white, and that's because of the history of the profession. And the purpose, what we're really trying to achieve, is try to have more CAs generally in South Africa, and obviously the biggest pool of any professionals in South Africa comes from black people. And with the political history that we have, there's all sorts of initiatives that we embark upon to make sure, one, we make the average learner aware of the profession, its benefits and its uses.
School goers, you mean?
All the
and
way.
then making sure the guys get through, the guys and girls get through the program.
We start all the way. Exactly, it's not. It's not the easiest degree indeed. But if I could do it, I'm pretty sure many people could. All the way from high school level. So from kind of your grade 9, 10, 11, 12s, we kind of promote the profession, the subject choices they need to make, the importance of English, the importance of mathematics, not maths literacy, mathematics, the kind of requirements they need to get into university. We have some support programs at university level, because kind of graduating from the undergrad into the postgrad and kind of passing in order to sit for the board exam, that can get a bit tricky. So we've got programs that try to ensure that guys get through the program, and then once they've sat for the exams, they get into your now the big 5 audit firm, now the Sizwe Nxasanas Gobodo is the size that it is, and get guys through into qualifying.
And then also sort of mentoring, career path development, you know, opportunities for people outside of the sort of conventional, exactly.
Indeed.
Because the ideal, I guess, is exactly as you say, that people go through the process as you were describing earlier, and then become, you know, business generators in their own right.
The reality is, I mean, I'll speak as a business person. The reality is that the skills base that comes from a chartered accountant is something that we need and we lack. We just don't have enough of. And this is not a black-white issue. And a lot of people I know, when they look at organizations like ABASA, they think, why blacks only, why not everybody? The reality is we have 90-odd% of the population represented only 12% into the qualification statistics of being a chartered accountant. So it's obvious that you need an intervention to make sure that the demographics
and there's specific challenges, and it's like a guild, you know, you just want more is more in this case.
Exactly.
You know, not anything else. I would love to chat about Liverpool football with you, but I've been told by a producer that that's inappropriate for a business
At least we shook hands.
But on Twitter, where I got to know you, you're a fierce defender of all matters South African as well as Liverpool football. So a great follow, Andile. Thanks very much for coming in. It's been great fun.